All right. I'm back. Hold on. There you go. Okie dokie. I'm not gonna lie to you. Today felt rough. Like, damn. Like, it didn't even feel like the day I started. It just felt like continuing from the last time. But yeah, I started today, and then yeah, it kind of just felt like there's something lingering. Yeah, this I can't say I don't know anymore. I do know. It's just that feeling, a temptation. But it was so weird because I didn't feel it as strong as when I first started this challenge, or my first attempt at the challenge. But it was just so weird to know that it like lingers even when it's shit. I can't really explain myself right now, but it still lingers even though I've done so much progress. Even if you haven't seen a ounce of anything about porn all day, and you've actually kept your mind distracted about it for like a couple hours, it like lingers in the way of like, isn't there something I have to remember or something? And then it just felt so weird, that feeling like something is off. But I think literally that's the feeling that the enemy wants me to think. Because if I'm thinking, oh, what was it? I'm trying to remember, oh, what does this remind me of? Oh, this and this. I shouldn't be, worried about something that will potentially make me fall back into it, or like get down the slippery slope, or go down the slippery slope. Because if I remember one thing, like a character, a person, uh, a body part, it's just that's it. It just starts rolling. It's like a big old snowball. You know, collecting snow going down the hill, and you know that feeling. I just heard like something sounded kind of sus. Sounded like a walkie-talkie. Yeah, I never really thought about being outside as a scary um, atmosphere or ambience. But yeah, I guess it can get kind of spooky back here. Shit, that threw me off. Well, oh yeah, pretty much the that potential of remembering something will make me fall down into a relapse again. So today felt like I started, and it was like it was a pretty good. I actually felt good. I felt like my spirits were up for once, and it kind of like increased the value of when I do watch porn, which is makes it a lot harder, but it almost makes it so that it lasts. Now every time I relapse, it's almost like, all right, I fucked up, but like I feel good about this next time. I'm gonna you know continue and start all over again. It's so weird. I don't know how to explain the feeling. Like learning from your mistakes kind of feels good. It boosts my confidence, and um yeah it like gives me motivated to learn more new things. I was such like, I don't know. I was a mess. when I first would start these these like fasts, porn fasts. Like literally 3 days would go by and then I'll do it. 3 days would go by and then I'll do it. And I'm not saying as a way of that's how often I watched porn. Back then, if I had no limits or no, like moral ground of trying to stop this, I would want to watch porn every day, multiple times a day. That's how weird or, I guess sexual I am. But it was bad. It was like there's this one time I watched porn like I don't know, like it was like 7 or 10 times a day, or I did it like 7 to 10 times. I don't remember the actual number, and then it kept like the next day it was like 5 times, and then the next day it was like four, and then I'd go back to seven, and I was just like, I think it was like I was so drained one time, like mentally, my energy, physically, like that that's I think that's what like started it. That I had a like a thing inside me of a lot of fear packed into me, but it wasn't like released yet. But that feeling when I watched all that porn, it like activated it. It activated this like huge start of a cycle of depression. And that was when I was like probably 12, 13. And oh well, yeah, it was like 12, 13 when I began to go through porn. It was like so much time I put into it because I think I was introduced at 10. If it wasn't 10, it was like 9. I forgot what age I was introduced porn. But I'm glad it's like it's you know slipping away from my mind because I don't really want to think about it anymore as much as like you know a year or two ago, because like a year or two ago I was thinking about it. I was like really into it. I was just like, damn, like why me? Why did I have to be the porn addict? But now it's just like, people are rooting for me and people are trying to see me change, not in a way where they want me to, but like because I told them I wanted to. So they're supporting me. They're like, yeah, like I'll support you if you want this. And I did. I did want it. I wanted it so much that I finally got to a point where watching it is almost no pleasure to me. It's almost just like I'm giving pleasure to somebody else. Kind of like a loan shark. Like, I borrow money. Now it's time to pay up. But or it could be like someone eggs you on all day, and in order for them to make them stop, you have to give them like a piece of candy, and then they calm down. But like after a while, they start egging you on again. But yeah, that whole time of me watching porn was I don't know what I was going through to cope with my feelings, because like I don't think that that was healthy. That was a dangerous amount of porn to be watching at that age. So it was like, what was I going through? What happened to me that I needed to cope like that? To me, I think a lot of it had to be with school, because like to me, school felt like no friend, having no friends. It was already in the midst of me like losing my friends, because when it was fifth grade, I remember I had a few friends, but when that summer hit and everybody moved to middle school, I lost them. Like I lost contact with them, and I saw one or two of them at the same middle school, but they changed. I think it was that big change from fifth grade to sixth grade because it was like it was almost as if everybody wanted to grow up like fast, and they all changed during that summer. And when they did, I didn't recognize anybody. I was like, these aren't the same people when of like since elementary school. It was so weird because it was only like a year change, and all of them like they grew taller. They all get got like makeovers. It was like an update. It was it was like a life update that I wasn't ready for. I was like, holy moly, like what happened to everybody? And so that was the year I kind of just started losing like this relationship with the people around me. And I was just like what happened? You know, I was a really happy boy in elementary school. The only time I was sad was when I had to give a presentation, and I was not a public speaker at the time. I was like, oh fuck that. Um, yeah, I was scared of public speaking. But when I was with the friends, when I was at recess, man, I was an interaction of fun. I was hanging out with everybody. I was chilling with everybody. We would make so many jokes. Like most of the jokes I made actually would hit the school up like sometime later. That's how crazy I like how crazy popular I felt at elementary school. I was like, I come up with the joke, and I see all the popular kids saying that same joke. I'm like, there's no fucking way, because you know I would have like this link. There's this friend I'd had, and he was cool with all the other popular kids, but you know he wanted to be cool with me because he saw I was kind of like lonely a little bit. But then like he noticed I was pretty funny, and he would repeat the same jokes I said to his friends, and they were fucking cracking up. And to me, I was like, damn, you know, like I can be a part, I can be social. To me, it was so good. But nearing the later stages, which was like fourth, third, I think it was fourth grade, somewhere around there. Yeah, third, fourth, somewhere around there. It was like I started seeing the trouble in my house, you know, with my mom and dad like yelling and arguing with each other. I think that's when I started to get all like distant with people, but at the same time, it was like I didn't want to let go of my friends. I was like, you know what, like I still kind of wanted my friends, but I think I remember this one time I was making like these kids laugh, and you know, I had different friend groups, and this is what I hate about explaining Young Martin, because there is no explaining the shit I did because I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was like fucking Kanye West or some shit in the school, you know. But you know, it was stupid. But I had different friend groups, and I would act different. They're in those friend groups. But these other friends were like, you know, a little geeky. They'll like, you know, Xbox games and shit like that. They'll like play. They'll be, you know, they'll do shit like that, like, you know, cup stacking. They like the chess club shit. But like they liked hanging out with me, but because I made them laugh. And it got to a point where I remember they would laugh at anything I would say. And so I got like to a point where I was like, are they laughing at me or with me? So I just immediately assumed, like I was so confident in that answer, that they're laughing at me like I was just like a joker or something, like a clown. So I told them like, hey, I don't want to hang out with y'all anymore. I was like, yeah, like I'm not trying to make you guys laugh like that, you know. And they're just like, what? Little did I know they were laughing with me, because it was just like they thought we were a friend group. They thought we were friends, and I felt so bad after that. After that, we dispersed. That's when in middle school, like we acted like we almost didn't know each other. But I was like, I felt so like ashamed, guilty, but like what do I do? How do I like fix this? I felt all those emotions after that happened. I was like, damn, like now I don't got any friends. But yeah, it was just like after that, I think that's when I noticed I started to lose friends, and because people were just changing, and I guess that's when I began to cope with it through porn. And yeah, it was a big thing about me thinking I was ugly. Um, I was just not likable. Maybe my voice was annoying. I was putting so much, like I can't even explain all the things I was saying. Like, was it because my face looks a little different? Is it because I'm Mexican, brown? Is it how my hair looks? Or is it because, what I think? I never once decided to look within myself. I was always thinking about what's on the outside, what I was doing on the outside. Like how good I was at this, or how good I was at that, or what I said to girls, or something like that. That's when it all became like self conscious and insecure. Everything started to like, nobody was there to tell me otherwise. Nobody was there to tell me like, look, Martin, it's like it's none of those things. It's just you lying to yourself. Now be social, go out, be social, have fun, and make sure you're like, you do you, but like just don't hurt anybody, because like you want to treat people how you want to be treated. And I did it. I was treating people so distant because I that's what I thought people were treating me like. And it's just trying to justify it, but it's like if they might have shown some distance between me, it's maybe because they were like not used to me or something, but they needed time to get to know me. And once I saw that like distance, I immediately assumed that everyone was going to be like that. And my lies, it's so crazy because the only lies I wish I didn't believe in were my own, but or like the only truths I wish I didn't believe in were my own, because really they're lies, because I don't know everything. And I was just telling myself, like, it was almost like I was justifying every emotional response that I received, because it was like I was trying to justify it through that. I was trying to justify it as a means of distance. Like they didn't want to include me. And I was like you're probably one of them too, huh? Like in my mind, this is what I was thinking. I was like, if it was a girl, boy, anybody just trying to hang out or make conversation with me, I would give them silence or short responses, and then I would just like kind of leave it alone or leave them alone, because that lie kept building. It was already like a big ass snowball by the time I left high school or middle school for high school. And yeah, even when I left high school, it was a big snowball. I still believe that nobody's going to be my friend because they don't want to. I don't know what it is, but it got to a point where I accepted it. I was like, I'm just going to be friendless. And even to this day, it's like I don't really have anybody close like that. Like, hey, like that's not family. The closest I can think of, and I don't want to include her because this was only recent, but the closest I can think of for my entire life right now would be my big brother's friends. My big brother's friends, they would come over. Sometimes I would chat with them, and it got to a point where I got so acquainted with them that we hang out every now and then. But they were my big brother's friends, not they weren't my friends at first. But now they're the only ones I can kind of like actually probably chill with that like aren't family. But now the most recent I can possibly put as like one of my friends that I know. It's not like somebody else's friend, like because they're connected through family. No, it's just I met this coworker at Wendy's when I worked there, and she was like really cool. Like everything she said, everything she um, like related to me with, it was like everything was like we were able to like click like that, like just relate with one another. But yeah, it was crazy to think that I was in my room most of my life. And I guess you could say the house because I moved throughout the house several times, but to me it's just I trip over, I was tripping over the Matrix shit, how they try to keep us incubated. They kept me incubated. That's why it was this like natural response because I can say this and that about porn, but I can tell that there were moments where watching porn was shameful because my mom did catch she caught me not like doing it, but all the history or whatever she would see it on the phone, and to me she made a big deal about like, hey, like what are you doing, don't do it on my phone because that's how bad it was. I was watching it on phones, on uh what do you call them, DSIs. I was watching them on PSPs. I don't actually PS Vitas. I forgot which one they were. I was watching it on like everybody's phone because I tried to remove it from my phone. I tried to remove my phone. I tried to go phoneless. Like it was it was genuinely bad, but it felt like I would only get every now and then a lecture to not do it. But to me, it wasn't a punishment like me, you know, hurting somebody or something. Because if I like, I don't know, if I picked on my little brother growing up, yeah, I would get the spanking. Or if let's say I messed something up, money wise or something, I'll probably get hit or a really bad lecture. I would get yelled at. But yeah, there's a lot of shit that goes into it, but I didn't really get nothing. Like I don't know. I don't want to say punishment because well fuck it. I already got my punishment if this is it, but my punishment was that started early of just letting me go so I can learn the hard way. Like it's almost as if maybe I didn't want to learn the easy way, but I should have been hit for that. I should have been hit or I should have been told something. Something should have happened to me to not put my energy in that. It was pretty taboo like growing up and people like found out that you watch porn. Like they didn't even want to talk about it with like their family members. But yeah, these feelings of I don't know what to call them. They're like fits. Like it's almost like you get into the mindset of when you're younger and you want to make the routine happen again. But to me, I'm glad that the routine doesn't last as long anymore because it's like to me I'm just fucking tired of it. I don't know what else to say. It's almost like if it if there's any new porn, I'm like, you know what? It's what's the difference between the old one? It's like doesn't really matter. Doesn't I already seen so much. It doesn't concern me anymore. But it now it feels like a hobby, like that I'm trying to get rid of because that's what I turned it into. Instead of an addiction, I was looking at it like a hobby, something to do while I have nothing to do. And yeah, I damn sure would rather be rapping and like creating lyrics than watching porn. And somehow I managed to convince myself that rapping is prideful and it's worse than watching porn. So that's why I stopped. I thought I was, you know, gonna fall into this habit of, saying all these, lies. Pretty much they are when I rap. They're lies, but it's to me. I just like the creative process behind it and the phonetically sound, pleasing sounds that lyrics just can bring to the music. And it's so cool that you express your thoughts in like a obscure way of poetry. And I don't even know how to express every thought, but right now I'm just thinking about how freaking I kind of like just ruined myself with watching porn and like those heavy doses that I didn't need. It was just unnecessary for me to spend a whole day watching porn because I did that one time. I spent a whole day watching porn. I woke up watching it. It was like afternoon. I went and watched it. I went to the bathroom, watched it, and then like it was already nighttime, and I was like exhausted, but I was still doing it because like what else do I have to do? And it was like so fucking bad. It was terrible. It was like, what the fuck am I doing? And nothing was able to take my mind off of it. Nothing. Like right now, just me talking about it is like a way for me to sort of do it. Watch porn because that's all my mind is on. And I'm trying to stop. It's like nothing. Nothing is working against it. And the most recent thing that kind of just pushed me was just the reason alone. The reason alone to just keep going. My reason to keep going is to keep going. That shit pushed me so fucking hard. It just fucking drove me. It was like, fucking yes. Let me just fucking go. I don't care. I'm gonna keep fucking going. Because, fuck, like, shit. I can't express. I can't express. It sounds like gay or stupid or retarded or weak. But I just can't. I don't know how to express it. I just wish people would know how fucking shitty this affected me. How terrible it was in my life. You could say it was pleasure behind it, but the action of doing it didn't last as long as my dread after. Sometimes there was just hints and sparks of dread while I was doing it. I was just telling myself while I was doing it, what the fuck are you doing? Stop it. It was almost like getting raped. It was like I didn't want it to happen, but I had to do it. I just did it, and I just did it, and I just did it anyways. And I didn't want to do it one day. It just like, it was almost like I was gone. I blacked out. Like, my mind just floats away when something like that happens. When I masturbate. It's like, like, and I did all that crazy shit, like, it got so bad I was shoving shit up my ass, like, because the feeling of dopamine was like wearing off for it to just be masturbation. It wasn't hitting me like it used to, and it was so crazy because I would have these fucking like conversations with myself while I was doing it. I was like, bottom line, I just became like a concept, like a lesson or something, an example. It wasn't even just living, it wasn't even existing. It was just like watching a TV show or a fucking, like this screen or something. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's like I was looking at my life from an outside point of view. I was just looking in, and I was like talking to somebody, and I was just like, is there anything I can do? Is there anything I can change? Is there anything that's gonna stop this? Or I would just hear a voice saying like, like, Jesus is still here, even if you're doing it. It's like Jesus is not gonna go away. And this is like while I was watching porn, while I was like, like, I don't know how else this. I'm like, literally, I don't know how to. It was while I was doing it, mid fucking like masturbation. I was fucking having this conversation, and some fucking reason I knew I was like out of my body when that happens because I was still turned on by like the porn. I was still watching it. And then like the act of it isn't long, but to me, when I looked in the mirror, it was just like, for the longest I would just see myself, and it was like seeing a different character. It was always like seeing a different character. I was like, oh, I usually see this guy after I masturbate. The fucking man in the mirror. But now it was until recently, maybe a year or a couple months ago, where I started to think like, this is who's fucking me up. This person right here. It was like a fucking realization. I was like, you know what? I'm so mad at this thing, at this addiction, that I didn't realize the root of it was right in front of me. It was me. I was doing it. and I started to just resent myself. I was so mad at myself. You know, for the longest, I would want to kill myself to take an easy way out, but no, this feeling of like this suicide I wanted to do was like personal. Now it's like I now made it personal. Now instead of just trying to like escape, now this is personal. Like this is me. I made it personal. So it was to a point where I was like not anymore. Like I'm not gonna be on this roller coaster anymore or any longer. Even if it's just a constant battle to try to stop, I will keep battling. But fuck, like the amount of time it just fucking took for me. It was like I was stuck in a fucking prison. That's why I was so fascinated with like, prison documentaries and prison movies and just videos of people, explaining how rough it is in prison. I don't know why, but it's just like I would watch those and I'm like, why does this fascinate me? And little did I know I was just a prisoner in my own mind. I was just stuck in my mind because I really thought I was projecting what was in my mind on the outside. And that's why I was so angry and distant from the world because I just literally put myself in that box. Even my dad was like trying to tell me in a way, in like a subtle way, that like I don't even know you no more. And he's not saying that like, I don't know you, so I don't want to get to know you, but like I don't know you because you don't want to be known. You're kind of like you're showing you don't want to be known. I was genuinely picking porn over my family. My family's love, my father's love, especially in times when he wanted to be there for me. It's almost like I was forgetting him. I was like, oh, he's dead already. And I'm gonna be old and I'm just gonna pick up his habits. And it's just a repeat of the cycle, the history cycle. I literally got to a point where I accepted that, but I don't know if I accept it now or don't, but I know I don't. It doesn't sound pleasing to accept that. It doesn't sound fun. It doesn't sound like something I want to do, but I know it tends to happen. And this feeling of this 10-day, fast when I relapsed, yeah, it like happened, but it was almost like, all right, get it over with quick because we're gonna start this shit again. And the day that I started, when I woke up, I didn't feel good because they woke me up, my big brother. Um, but when the day kept progressing and I was staying awake, like, man, I started to feel good, like revigorated, revigorate. I don't know. I got like health back. I got my life back. I started feeling better. I was like, oh shit, like is this what life is like without porn? I'm like genuinely happy. Like I was able to just wave any like of that thing that I was doing when I was young. I was able to waive those emotional response justifications that I was doing. I was like trying to justify every emotional response because I was trying to make sure I didn't feel targeted or something or hated or distanced. And I just thought in my brain, I was like, just let it go. Like, not everything everybody says has to be studied, Martin, or any reaction they make, or whatever emotion they're trying to, you know, produce. It doesn't have to be taken to heart. And I would take it to heart. I'll take it to heart so much, my heart genuinely started to hurt. And yeah, you could say about all the food I'm eating, but I see people who eat 10 times worse than me, and their heart's good. It's their stomach that's fucking them up, but my heart just couldn't fucking take. I knew and I know that it was the emotional damage that I was doing to myself by clenching onto every detail, every aspect of emotion itself. Like, it was to a point where I was like, I have to explain it all. Otherwise, I'm not going to understand. And I'm going to be confused. And when I'm confused, it's almost like I'm a kid again. Like, I don't know why they don't like me or why people are like this or if it could be fixed. You know, there's a way around it, or if there's like a default way of being good, because I haven't found it yet. Like, the closest to any default of good is to just be you. That I've found is just being you, is just existing and not getting phased by the shit people say. And it's not bad advice. It's just I don't want it to be that this was the reason I I fell back into doing whatever I wanted. Because I'm actually pretty proud that I kind of made it my mission to stop porn, that I actually want to stop porn. I actually despise porn, not in a way of like the, well, yeah, porn industry is bad, but it's like where I hate the people in the porn, but it's just the action of masturbating to it. Because like those people in porn they're people too. They try to change their lives. Okay, I get it too, but for me, it's just the action of watching porn, just being stuck in that prison of doing my addiction. It's just that was to me such a problem that I finally managed to make it a thing I want to stop. Because for as long as it was like, do you really want to stop this? Like, I was always asking myself that question. That question will always be brought up every once in a while, and I'm just like yeah, but like right now, I'm doing this, just to cool my nerves. No, I think I was just saying yeah because wanted to. Is gratification. I don't know if I'm using that right. I'm gonna just say it is to gratify or satisfy, gratify, to satisfy my conscience, like my, I guess, moral conscience, or my super ego. So, super ego meaning like the thing I'm supposed to be, like the good that you can be. But I always would ignore it and just be like, what, right now I just want peace and relaxation. And I don't get that from not doing it. I get it from doing it. So I'm going to just do it right now. That's what I would think. And it sucked that there were some good days where it was like everyone got along and we were having fun, and I just get greedy. I get so greedy that I have to go to the bathroom and I have to make it even more fun. That shit just and I did that self punishment shit. I would whip myself, not in a pleasurable way because I don't like getting pained. I don't like pain. It was almost like I whip myself so I can learn, like my body can learn. I would get the belt and I'll like whoosh, on my back like several times until I couldn't take it anymore. I would use wires, like whoosh. I would cut myself. I would burn myself with the cigarettes. I would punch myself, hit my head on the floor like boom, boom, boom. Like this is recent. Well, not like recent, but this is like I know when I was a kid, they told me I would do that. But that's a whole I don't know what the hell I was doing back then. But knowing that I was doing this shit, I was hurting myself. I was trying to punish myself to stop doing this shit again. I I knew I was doing everything wrong. I knew as soon as I started doing it, like I was like, oh no, like I was almost shaking, of scared of the pain I was gonna bring myself. I was getting scared of myself, and then I knew I was just like after a while of doing it, I knew this is bad if I need to hit myself to stop because this is not the way. Because I was getting scared like when I was a kid and my dad was gonna spank me because um every time I watched porn I would hit myself, and so every time I was thinking about watching porn it got to a point where I was just getting scared of it, and it was like the only thing to calm my fear is the porn, so I was just trapped. I didn't want to get hit, I didn't want to do it, and it all everything culminated. It was like I didn't want to fail God, I didn't want to fail my family, I didn't want to go out in life like not producing anything, just being another lump on the log. And so I knew there had to have been another way because what I was through on the internet, a lot of it was useless, but there was just some gems in there. There were gems in the void, the vastness of darkness, and they helped me. They genuinely helped me. Like I really can't say that like everything in the internet's bad because if it wasn't for the internet, I wouldn't have found those videos. They explained it to me like, here's the bottom line. This is the bottom line. You know, like you're hopeless because you're not doing anything. You're stagnant and you're becoming the rock that you wish you wanted to be. You're becoming the rock you wish you were, and the process of becoming a rock is so dangerous. It's so scary, and it's so weird to me that people try to drag others to turn them into rocks as well, when in reality, we're not rocks. We're humans, and it's time to live our life as humans. You're born a human, act like one. Like I fucking I genuinely don't know how I got myself wanting that to not exist. Like, do you know how depressive that is? Like it just can I fathom? Can anybody fathom it? Can I get a fathom in the chat, please? Because that is the most depressive thing to ever think. Like, I fucking not exist. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? That shit. It was either that or go on like a killing spree. Because it was like I wanted, like I was becoming Patrick Bateman. I wanted people to feel my pain. I wanted them to feel what I felt. I wanted to torture people like how I've been tortured. And it was just terrible. It was horrifying. It was horrible. And there was I tried, you know, like I can't not everyone can do it. I mean, there's probably something I could do with the therapist to get this maybe mental block memory that I have, but there is nothing growing up in my life that should have fucked me up so much to watch that much porn. It was nothing I can remember or think of that messed me up so much that I had to cope with all that porn because the second I started watching all that porn was the downward spiral and just the culmination, the just gather my whole life, and it was nothing but trauma via porn. It wasn't what somebody did. It wasn't, you know, like, because I know the things that happened in my life, yeah, they sucked, but it happened to a lot of people, and they didn't get as messed up as me. For me, it was just porn was my fucking kryptonite, and it was like stored in my brain. It was, you know, what's fucking crazy? There, it was like so crazy. I don't know how to fucking explain this, but it's this little thing, porn. Like porn is this thing where it's like there's there's way more things that matter than porn, bigger things. But like this little thing is what fucks me up, like my kryptonite. And I would have dreams of this fucking rat, this fucking like demon rat. It was like nothing like but this big. It was like a little fucking demon rat. And I'm not saying it looked like a demon rat. It was just a regular rat. But for some fucking reason, it was so strong in my dreams, I wasn't able to throw it off or take it off. Like if it would climb on me, it would climb on me. Like I can try to hit it, punch it. It was just still there. It would walk. It would go under, like the house. Like I remember it being in several of my dreams. And yeah, one of my dreams, this fucking rat climbs up to my fucking shoulder and starts whispering in my ear. And I just fucking grab it and I fucking throw it off. But then it like, I see that it was still on me. It like kind of started to attach to my body, and it started crawling through my like hand. And I woke up like fucking looking at my hand like, oh shit. Like I thought that shit was burrowing in my skin. That's how scary that shit was. That fucking rat. And then it came to the like it was pretty recent, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. But it was such a fucking like real feeling dream, you know. The shit felt real, and it felt like free, like a relief. I never felt before. And this fucking rat just was doing its stupid shit, and it just came up, and it was like it was almost like I was right there. It was I don't even care where I was, but it started coming towards me, and I just fucking grabbed this shit and I fucking tossed it at the wall. And I started kicking it. I started grabbing its tail and fucking throwing it and hitting it across the room and shit, like until I saw blood. I was not stopping. And then I saw it, it just couldn't move anymore. That's what I symbolized porn. It was just like, that was porn to me. It was like, fuck, it felt so good. Like this redemption of my life. And like that fucking, like, I tell people shit. I tell people this story, and then to them, it's like, yeah, I get it. Everyone has their own issues, but they don't care. They didn't care, and so I was fucking determined. Like I was like, fuck it, I have to do this alone, and I can't fucking, I can't give in. I had to fight this, and God's gonna be with me, or I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna die trying. Fuck it. I had to. I had to accept that die trying because I didn't want to die. I felt so scared. And so after that, I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm fucking determined to stop this shit. I'm gonna stop this shit. And if it's not me, it's Jesus Christ. And that's just final. His word is final. That shit fucked me up, dude. Just reminiscing about it is like a hell. I don't wanna talk about it again. But if it seems to me like I do, because I relapse. And maybe I want to express myself, express this feeling of pain, because maybe someone else is feeling it, and they either can help me or relate, or they just know about it. You know, they can at least know that this existed. And maybe they can avoid it. Because I know one thing, I did kind of help people to avoid it. I'm not saying I helped like the world or some shit, but I did a certain part of having this as an issue of mine, because a lot of people deal with it, and they're not given the chance of help. They're not given that chance of time. They're not given that chance of love. And so they go do the craziest shit possible. Pedophiles and murderers alike. It's like they can't handle it. They couldn't handle it. Not in the way of they were weak, but their burden got too much for them to bear. And God doesn't, when He says it in the Bible, like, I will never make it so that you can't bear it. He's just saying that there's always an escape, even if you don't know it. He's always given us an escape out of it, even if we genuinely don't know it. We don't see it, or we don't believe it. He's like, it doesn't matter what you believe. Like, I gave you the escape. I gave you the tools, and I gave you the truth to get out. You know, I gave you the answer. some people just are blinded. I don't know what or who or what, when, what way is blinding them, but you could say themselves, but every time you blame somebody, like, oh, it was your fault, for your mistakes. That's not how anybody wants to be seen. It's almost like you you're dying and you're asking for help, but all somebody does is just go like, "Oh, told you so," or something like that. When in reality, when they call out, those are cries for help in the most serious manner of, I am gonna die and I am coming to you for help, even if it's a fucking lizard, a insect. That's why I start to get so empathetic towards little creatures, because I'm going to anything at this point. A tree, to me, it was my back scratcher. I would talk to it. I would hug my clothes like it was real people. I was so fucking like fed up with people that I started going to anything. And porn was like my only like interaction with people that actually gave me something to feel. That's why I kept doing it. I was like looking for a connection, but all I was getting was just sexual satisfaction. I wasn't getting like this interconnection. I don't know how else to say it. This like loving protection. And for the longest, I would blame people, but you have to live a few more years to see that a lot of people went through what you went through, and they don't want to mess you up even more than you're what you're going through. Because sometimes it's best not to say anything if you don't have a good answer in your head, like a sure answer. So I understand. I have to give people time. Because when you unlock chapters in your life, you unlock certain conversations with people. And then you start to learn the truth a little bit more. Because when you look at it at face value, you're like, but so and so stopped doing it. Well, so and so had to go through many disciplines, and a lot of them didn't work for him. It didn't work for him at the time, or him or her. And they had to live like constant pain of change. And some people just have it. Some people are going through different struggles that allow them to withstand problems that it's hard for you to withstand. Because, you know, we're not stepping into other people's shoes. Like these are our shoes. So we shouldn't be comparing their problems with our problems. But you should just be You worry about your life, and when anybody says anything about your life, just tell them cool. I don't really care. Or don't even tell them nothing. It's just they don't know you better than you know you. So you're going through the battle. You got to do what you got to do. But find an outlet, find this outlet. Produce something out of the energy you have. And when you're exhausted, when you're tired and scared, fight for other people because they might not have the chance to fight for themselves. And if all else fails, I've been slurring my words like crazy. If all else fails, retreat. Give yourself time to think. Get some reconnaissance. Because you deserve it. You deserve that time to understand what's happening and register what's happening in the world, in your life. And it's time to create something out of the constant intake. It's time to outtake it, to blow off the steam. And things that benefit you, if not everybody. And it's not in a way of benefit like through money, but so that you can finally release what's in your head. Even if it's playing volleyball, if it's writing a song, writing a poem, discussing a movie, playing with a certain, instrument, or, playing with toys too, it doesn't matter. Climbing trees. It literally can be anything. And we have to be more social, more out there, because that removes our fear of people and what they think about us. Because when we're out there and we go with the mindset, the truth that we have ready is, even if they say something to knock you down, if they do something to knock you down, it no, there's nothing anybody can do that should knock you down. Just because they're not having a good day doesn't mean we should have a not good day either. Like, they can do all they want, but whatever. You know what? I don't even need this. I just want to be happy, so I'm gonna go and be happy. You can even tell them that. You can, hey, like, take it down a notch, because, you know, people have bad days, but don't take it out on us. We're not here to be punching bags. And at the same time, it's like, there's nothing people can say to you that you haven't already said to yourself. Because we're our own worst judges. Like, we are really bad judges to ourselves. We really like want perfection when deep down we know it's unattainable. Unobtainable. God Lord, I'm fucking up these words. So perfection, it's like, I don't like looking at it as a view of nobody's perfect. It's that everybody is already perfect. The way that time is going, how space time is moving, it's perfect how it is. So you don't need to worry anymore. Like, there's nothing about worry anymore. Like, we're perfect the way we are. You are perfect the way you are built. You were perfect from your past and you're going to be perfect till you die. It's just how it is. Because if nobody's perfect, then everybody's perfect. Because I can look at it how I want. And when I think like that, I'm like, why was I worrying about what so and so said? They needed to say that because it's just something that needed to be said. Or they did that because it needed to be done. And it's if it's not for my comprehension, it's for somebody else. And I damn sure know it better be because there's people who can comprehend shit more than me. So they better fucking comprehend that. Because a lot of people died, a lot of kids were murdered, a lot of things happened. And for some reason, it's starting to feel like they either wake up and look because these messages are for them, or it's like, you know, they get what's coming to them, which I don't want anybody to feel because we're all not righteous. We're not perfect human beings morally. But, you know, hey, I just said we're all perfect, so in that way, it just. Because I can't really define perfect. I just see perfect as the way things have to be. I don't see it as it's the best way out there, you know. It's just this is the way things have to be. So let it be. But we all are still trying to, you know, come into understandings with the past and things people say and forgive them. So it's not like it's going to happen overnight, but we're leading down that path of unity. And that unity that we can have is just the most potent thing that we can have as a race, one race. Just unify, and literally anything can happen. And we unify in a way where we're okay with who we are and what we don't have and what we do have, and we're okay with what people do have and okay with what people don't have. We know to unite even in those differences, because otherwise we're going to just be stuck the rest of our lives comparing one another, and our kids are going to just do the same and nothing changes. That's why to me it's not that having a baby isn't important, because this conversation gets brought up a lot. It's that it's more important to get our shit together than having babies. Like, we've been through times where we had very few humans, I get it, but like, we can last maybe a couple years without having babies. Sometimes we just got to get our heads on right before we start repopulating an already populated world. I'm not saying it's overpopulated, but we're pretty much everywhere now. Eventually, we're going to be up in space, like Star Wars. All right. Well, anyway, I've been going on a while. I just need to vent my thoughts. But this is day one completed. I'm really proud of you, Martin. Keep it up. You've made progress, even if you don't think you did. You did, because I'm here to confirm it. It's you. You completed something, and it's like driving me to keep going. So stay safe, stay blessed, follow Jesus Christ, because he's our Savior. He's setting us free. All right, peace, everybody.